Hello folks, before we start the review I think I should address something that's important. Patchwork Heart, who's known for raising awareness on child molesters and sexual predators, as well as the situation with Grizzly the Medic and BronyCon, has recently been going through financial troubles. They had to undergo some surgery and the care that they were given was extremely poor, and the cost of the surgery has left them in debt. Patch and their partner are also behind on several bills, the debt is continuing to stack up, and it's gotten to the point where Patch can't work a regular job at this time. They started a GoFundMe on September 4th of this month, hoping to get some aid in their financial issues, and as a friend of theirs I was hoping to raise awareness on it. A link to the GoFundMe will be in the description, please donate if you can, and be sure to spread awareness on the GoFundMe in any way that would be helpful. Thanks for taking the time to listen, be sure to help out Patch, and enjoy the review whenever you're ready.
Now, I must leave to commence the ring-placing ceremony to unleash 800 years of unrelenting sweltering heat! Well, the thing is, I'm in charge of protecting this jungle. If another artifact goes missing on my watch, I'm going to be in so much trouble with the other guardian creatures.
Bullshit! Continuity's been cancelled forever! Fuck this shit, I'm done!
What else can I say except this episode was just stupid. For this to not only be the last During Do episode, but also the last centric episode on characters like Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy is a real huge letdown. But let's just start from the beginning. Dash and Flutters find out about Caballeron's latest scheme to foil During Do by writing books defaming her under a not-so-clever George Martin disguise. When they go to confront him, Dash is having none of it while Fluttershy is more open-minded and willing to give him a chance, since his book is written from a personal point of view. When she agrees to join Caballeron on an expedition for another artifact, Dash goes to During Do to help save her from a life of crime. But along the way, they have to fight Aoi Zoto, who's trying to do his job in protecting the jungle. Yeah, you can pretty much see the problem here. There's a huge and complete disregard to the continuity of previous During Do episodes here, and it's unacceptable for just how badly it retcons what was established about all these characters up to this point. First off, are we seriously supposed to believe that Aoi Zoto is a misunderstood good guy, after all the times he tried to kill our heroes? We're told that it's his job to protect the jungle, but in every appearance he's had up to this point, he's been shown to be a villain who's trying to use the artifacts During Do takes from him to take over the world. And even if he was tasked with protecting the jungle, one of his plans was unleashing
800 years of unrelenting sweltering heat!
How the hell is that protecting the jungle? If it doesn't set everything on fire, it would still severely damage the ecosystem. It's directly referenced in the episode. They show a clip of the events from Caballeron's point of view. And it's not like it's something they just made up because the main six were there when it happened. And I'm sorry, but knowing that Aoi Zoto was trying to kill During Do and the others on several occasions completely negates any goodwill this episode says he has. There was absolutely no hints and clues of him being a good guy at any point. So this big reveal that he's a guardian creature is something that they pulled straight out of their ass. And the explanation that they give doesn't work either. He's supposed to be protecting artifacts from During Do and Caballeron, right? So why did he trust Caballeron with the ring in Season 4? Also, you say there's other guardian creatures? What other guardian creatures? You're literally in the final season with 5 episodes left. It's too late to establish any of that. Whoever wrote this episode never saw any of the previous During Do episodes for a continuity error this bad to get across. Aoi Zoto is not a protector of the forest. He's not a protector of anything. It's just an out-of-nowhere concept that they introduced, and it's too late to build up on it because it's the last season of the show. And not only that, but it paints During Do as the antagonist when she's supposed to be the hero. So all this time she was keeping Aoi Zoto from doing his job? Does that make her a thief like Caballeron? It paints her adventures as exploitation for her own gain while glossing over a lot of the reasons why she was taking artifacts in the first place. Because they were going to be used for evil. And it's not just During Do, but the main 6 who were causing damage too. They literally helped During Do cause imbalance in the jungle because we're forced to believe that Aoi Zoto is a good guy, painting the main characters used the very heroes of this show as antagonists in this situation. Even worse, Daring Do isn't even making a living anymore. If the ending is anything to go by, she's not making any more money off her books because she got upstaged by Aoizoto, who somehow became an author of his own book series and is now making public appearances in the city. Did I mention how stupid this episode is? She's not gonna make it as an author now, and she can't go back to her adventures because they were shown to be a bad thing the whole time. This is such a shit ending for Daring Do because she wasn't just a typical supporting cast member. She was built up as a character that the audience is supposed to have some investment in. A hero to Rainbow Dash who inspired her to check out books and help her learn an important lesson about reading and nerdy things. An ally to the heroes when the day needed saving. She deserved way more than what she got here. Her career in adventure ending, no one buying her books anymore, her legacy as an adventurer being tainted with her previous episodes being painted in a bad light, her reputation crapped on by Caballeron's first book, and the revelation that she's been a jackass to Aoizoto, who's supposed to be the true hero in all this, is complete and utter bullshit. Even beyond that, there's so many other things about this episode that just feel wrong. Fluttershy is way too much of a pacifist in this episode, especially considering she's fully aware of all the times the villains tried to kill them. I guess they meant to teach a moral about giving others the benefit of the doubt or getting both sides of the story so you're not judging one side so harshly, but it doesn't work because one of the sides was already portrayed as very villainous in the past. Fluttershy just comes across as really oblivious, having an irritating one-track mind and forgetting about Dash trying to explain all the schemes the bad guys are up to. And she's so unbelievably gullible for constantly falling for Caballeron's tricks. She isn't able to recognize his obvious bad acting in spite of her experience with bad acting. She believes everything he tells her even when it doesn't make sense, and she doesn't notice how he's obviously just using her to get through the jungle and temple stuff. Did Dash just forget to tell her about the time Caballeron tried to kill her by drowning her in boiling green goo? You'd think she would have told her that story at some point. Not only that, but they actually missed an opportunity to tell a good story regarding that whole both sides of the story thing. We could have gotten a story about how perspective matters and how Caballeron really was just trying to get by. The episode started with him trying to paint things in his favor because he believed he was right, and he was even warming up to Fluttershy after a while. It could have been a nice moral about perspectives and how one person telling a story can affect the truth and the events behind it. But no, it's revealed that he was just using Fluttershy all along, so he just comes across as another typical villain. So it just turns into a generic use kindness to understand others lesson because the episode got a bad case of Fluttershy favoritism. So, was there anything about this episode that was good? Well, there were a few things. For one thing, I like how Dash was written here. She's portrayed competently and wasn't shown to be in the wrong, and her stubborn attitude doesn't harm the episode like it did in her last one. It's really telling that Dash doesn't believe anything Caballeron is saying, and not just because he's Daring Do's enemy, but because she has no obligation to him. Last time they met, he literally tried to kill her, so of course she's not gonna believe him. Some of the comedy is well timed, like the banter between Caballeron's henchmen, and especially this one bit from Rainbow Dash.
I'm gonna need the deluxe spa package after this adventure. That doesn't leave this temple.
And I even thought that Caballeron's disguise was a nice reference to George Martin. But aside from that, this episode is not only incredibly stupid, but it feels like such a huge letdown. It's a big disappointment because an episode that's meant to be seen as the final conclusion to the Daring Do subplot was so poorly thought out and riddled with so many plot holes and character inconsistencies that it completely destroys the story arc. The writing was rushed, the attempts to redeem the villains was really lazy and made no sense in continuity with previous episodes, the ending was slapped together haphazardly, Caballeron's redemption felt weak, and it made Daring Do out to be the one in the wrong after all this time. There's simply too many continuity errors for it to work, and it retcons so much of what was set up about Daring Do from the beginning. It's a bad episode that really doesn't sit right with people who care about Daring Do, and even then, it's just not a good story. Hopefully we'll get something better next time, but I really hope we don't go overboard when we're so close to the end. So until next time, take care of yourselves and stay awesome. This is Map signing out.